stone, cold, black, endless. Two men sit in the deepest chamber of the underworld, chained to nothing, yet they cannot move. Their bodies are fused to the rock beneath them, legs numb, spines locked, breath shallow. Every time they try to stand, the stone tightens like a living trap. Across the cavern, shadows ripple in the torchlight. And then, footsteps, slow, measured, inevitable. The ruler of the dead approaches. Hades, number, rage, no shouting, no thunder, just quiet. Judgment. The god stops in front of them and smiles. Because these two men did something no mortal, no hero, no god would ever dare attempt. They tried to steal his wife. Not gold, not power, not a kingdom. His wife, Persephone. And now, they will sit here forever. But the real mystery isn't the punishment. It's the question that still haunts this myth thousands of years later. Why would anyone be insane enough to kidnap the queen of the dead? To answer that, we have to go back to the beginning, back to the most reckless friendship in Greek mythology.
Unveil the legends.
One of them was a king, a hero, a man famous for strength, courage, and terrible decisions. Theseus? Yes, that Theseus, the man who killed the Minotaur. But heroes rarely retire peacefully. Victory breeds arrogance, and arrogance attracts the wrong kind of friends. Enter the second man, Pirithous. Pirithous wasn't known for wisdom. He was known for obsession. But Pirithous had a dangerous belief. He thought heroes were untouchable. In his mind, gods admired boldness. They rewarded audacity. After all, many myths celebrate mortals who challenge heaven and survive. Pirithous misunderstood the pattern. Greek myths don't celebrate rebellion. They document punishment. The line between hero and fool was razor thin, and Pirithous had already stepped over it. And his obsession? He wanted a wife worthy of his bloodline. Not a princess, not a queen, a daughter of Zeus. The two men made a pact, a dangerous one. They would both marry daughters of the king of the gods, no matter the cost. And like all terrible plans, it started with success. Theseus kidnapped a young girl named Helen. Yes, the same woman who would later start the Trojan War. Helen of Troy. They hid her, planned to marry her when she grew older. The first crime worked too easily, so Pirithous decided, why stop there? If Theseus could steal Helen, then Pirithous would steal someone greater, someone untouchable, someone impossible, the queen of the underworld, Persephone. And that's the moment their fate was sealed. The journey began with a lie. No army, no weapons, no threats. Just two men, walking calmly into death. They descended through caves and jagged tunnels, deeper, darker, colder. The air smelled like iron and wet stone. Finally, the gates appeared, the kingdom of Hades, and somehow they were welcomed. The king of the dead greeted them like honored guests. No suspicion, no anger. Hades listened patiently as they told their story. Ancient storytellers loved this moment because it shows something terrifying about Hades. Unlike other Olympians, he rarely explodes with anger. No lightning, no storms, just patience. The god of the dead understands something mortals don't. Everyone eventually comes to him. Time is his ally. So, when Theseus and Pirithous arrived, Hades didn't rush revenge. He simply prepared a seat. Two heroes, seeking glory, seeking love. They asked for permission to take Persephone. Silence for a long moment. The god said nothing. Then he nodded, a calm gesture, a polite smile, of course, he said. But first, rest, sit, eat. Travelers deserve hospitality. So the two men sat down on simple stone chairs, and the moment their bodies touched the rock, the trap snapped shut. Their muscles froze, their legs locked, their bones felt, fused to the earth itself. They tried to stand, nothing, tried again. Pain exploded through their spines. The stone wasn't just holding them, it was absorbing them. And across the hall, Hades watched, because this wasn't a negotiation, it was a lesson. You don't steal from the god of the dead, especially not the one thing he loves. But here's where the story gets darker, much darker, because, according to some ancient versions of the myth, Hades wasn't angry, he was amused. Think about it. The god who rules the dead is used to fear. Mortals tremble before him. Even gods avoid his kingdom. But these two men, they walked into his domain like thieves at a marketplace. Not out of hatred, not out of revenge, just arrogance. And arrogance is something the gods punish, slowly. So instead of killing them, Hades chose humiliation, an eternal prison of stillness. They would remain conscious, aware, unable to move, watching centuries pass in silence, until one day, another hero arrived, Heracles. During one of his legendary labors, Heracles traveled to the Underworld, and there he found them. Two heroes, broken, trapped, begging. Heracles pulled with all his strength. Stone cracked, dust fell, and suddenly Theseus came free. But when he tried to pull Pirithous out, the ground shook violently. The Underworld itself resisted, because Pirithous' crime was worse. This was his idea, his obsession, his arrogance. So the earth refused to release him, and Pirithous remained there forever, still sitting, still trapped, still paying for a crime born from pure pride. Here's the brutal irony. Pirithous wanted the most powerful bride imaginable, a queen, a goddess, a daughter of Zeus. But instead of gaining a wife, he lost everything: freedom, movement, time. The man who dreamed of ruling beside a goddess ended up imprisoned beneath the earth, forgotten by the world above. Meanwhile, Theseus survived, but his reputation never fully recovered, because in Greek mythology, one truth repeats again and again: hubris destroys heroes. Not monsters, not fate, ego. The belief that the rules don't apply to you. And that lesson? It echoes through thousands of myths, kings, warriors, demigods, all convinced they could outsmart the gods, all learning the same brutal truth: the gods don't always kill you. Sometimes they let you live with your mistake forever. Greek mythology hides a dark rule: steal gold, and you might escape. Steal power, and you might be forgiven. But steal from the gods themselves, you don't die, you become a warning. Pirithous is still sitting in the Underworld, at least according to the myth, waiting, frozen, in the exact moment his arrogance betrayed him. So here's the question: was this punishment justice? Or was Hades proving something terrifying? That the calmest gods can be the most ruthless? Let me know what you think. And if this story shocked you, wait until you hear about another myth even darker than this one. A man who tried to cheat death itself, and the horrifying trap the gods built just for him. Because in Greek mythology, death is patient, but it never forgets.